Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GRE. We have been solving math problems out of this book here, the official guide to the GRE, the third edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. Today is our lesson number 152. Day 3152. 3 is to signify the fact that we are in the third edition. Third edition, day 152. We are in the process of solving problem from the second practice test that you will find at the very end of the book on page 482. We will start with problem number 5. We did the first 4 problems yesterday. We'll begin with problem number 5. In problem number 5, we are given a frequency distribution. Or if you like, a histogram of 50 observations, like here. I could have done this thing ahead of time, but I prefer to do it while we're solving the problem so we can see actually how to go about it. So we are told that we have 2 observations with the value of 1. There's a variable here, let's call it variable x, and it takes on a different value. It takes on 6 different values, 1 through 6. And if it makes it easier for you, think in terms of a quiz. A teacher gives a quiz. The quiz had 6 questions in it, and teacher has 50 students in the class. And we are told that on this quiz, 2 students had a score of 1. So we're going to go up to 15. That's 10, 5, 10, and 15. There we go. This is 5, 10, and 15. So 2 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. 2 students had a score of 1. We are told that 4 students had a score of 2. 4 students right here had a score of 2. We are told that 7 students had a score of 3. 6, 7, 8. Oh, that was not very nice. 6, 7. You get the idea. It doesn't have to be. 7 students had a score of 3. 10 students, we are told, had a score of 4. 16 students, way up here, 16 students. Had a score of 5. And finally, a little bit higher than this one. 11 students, we are told, had a score of 6. The question simply is, which one is bigger? The mean in column A, and column B. Mean or the median? Which one of these 2 quantities is bigger for this histogram? Well, we have 2 options. One option, of course, actually is to manually figure out what the mean is and then figure out whether it is smaller or greater or equal to median. Other option is to simply understand the concept, which is what they expect you to do here. These questions are called quantitative comparison. That's exactly what it says. It means exactly what it says, quantitative comparison, not computation. These are not called quantitative computation, these are called comparison. We are to compare the 2 quantities. There is no need to actually compute the mean. Do you understand? Let's compare it. What we need to understand is this. We have 10 observations here, we have 11 observations here. What would have happened? What would have happened instead of having 10 fours? What if we had one more 4? What if we have one more 4, making it 11 4? Where do we get one more 4? Well, just borrow it from here. Here we go. We have 2 4s here. We have 2 4s. Let's just make it 1 4. Let's just make it 1 4. Or rather, we have 4 2s. Instead of 4 2s, let's just make it 2 2s. Which means, you see, we had 4 students getting a score of 2, and they earn a total of 8 points. Let's just pretend that there are 2 students each getting a score of 2. The 4 points that we just robbed from here, give it here. What would be the average now if you look at just these 3? If you just look at these 3 situations, these 3 classes. I lost my cap. What would be the average of these three classes. These people, these 11 people, these 10 people, and these 11 people. Are you able to see? Are you able to say that because we have 11 people getting 6 points each, and because we have 11 people taking 4 points each, and this is right in the middle, 10 students having a score of 5, there is one child here, less, rather, we have same number of people. There are 11 people getting a score of 4, and 11 people are getting a score of 6. The number of people who are getting 1 point higher than these people are getting a score of 5. Where my stick is right now. These are getting a score of 5. These people are getting a score of 5. But then we have 11 people getting a score of 6, and which is 1 point higher than 5. And then we have same number of people getting a score of 4. They negate each other. And the average of these three classes, these people, these 11 people, these 10 people, and these 11 people, the average of these three would be exactly 5. But then we have these people. We have 7 people here. We have 2 people here, 2 person here, 2 people here. Even though we were 4, you know what we just did? We robbed the 4 points from, we gave it to there. And what do you suppose they're going to do to the average? Are they going to pull the average up? Given the fact that the average of these three classes, when I say class, I meant group. You understand? Given the fact that the average of these three groups is 5, are these students the bright ones who are going to pull the average up? Of course not. They are the dummies. Here's one person, or rather, here's 2 people with a score of only 1 point. The maximum that you could have gotten was 6 out of 6. There were 6 questions on the quiz. Each question had 1 point, carried 1 point. But there are 2 people who only had a score of 1. So even though you do have a lot of bright students and they did very well, 4 and 5 and 6, but this person is going to pull the average down. There again, we have 2 people again with a score of 2. Here we have 7 people who get a score of 3. All of these 7 people who are getting a score of 3, they're pulling the average down. And that's all we need to understand. The mean here, we don't know what the mean is. We have no idea what the mean is. But we know the mean here is less than 5. We do know that for a fact. Let's figure out the median, shall we? How do we figure out the median? Let's switch this thing to the way it was so we don't get confused. It was 10 here. The median is simply, this was 10 and this was 4. The median is simply going to be the average of the 25th observation and the 26th observation. The average of the 2, because there are 50 of them altogether. Where is the 25th observation? Let's find out where does the 25th observation belongs, okay? Goes 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 7 is 13, 13 plus 10 is 23, we are still at 23. So 24th and 25th. 25th observation is going to fall here, 26th observation is going to fall here. Both the 25th and 26th observation are 5. So the median is exactly 5. The median is 5. The mean we just established that is less than 5. Median we just established is equal to 5. And therefore the answer is B. Median is exactly equal to 5 and the mean is something less than 5. We don't know what it is, but it is less than 5. So the answer is A. Answer is B rather. Answer is B. 2/3 of the people had no trouble with it. 2/3 of the people had no trouble with it. They got it right. But I hope they did not. I hope a large number of people did not get it right simply by doing it manually, by putting in brute force, because that takes time. Do you understand? Now the question still remains: if this question appeared not as a quantitative comparison question, sometimes these type of questions appear simply as regular multiple choice questions, or even worse, where they are open-ended questions where we have to put in our own answers. What type of questions they call it? They have a name for it. They call it numeric entry. They call it. They're very fancy people. Numeric entry simply means it's just you just type in your own answer, and sometimes they will tell you round it to the nearest 10th, or now round it to the nearest 100 or whatever. In which case, we have to figure out the precise answer as to what the mean is. So what if this appeared in the exam like that? How would we figure out the mean? Well, it's very easy. It's not a big deal. Let's figure out the mean. Let's physically figure out by doing it out manually. It's very simple, as I said. We have 2 people with a score of 1. 2 people with a score of 1. We have 4 people with a score of 2. 4 people with a score of 2. We have 7 people with a score of 3. 7 people with a score of 3. We have 10 people with a score of 4. 10 people with a score of 4. We have This is 16. We have 16 people with a score of 5, and we have 11 people with a score of 6. So we have 2 people with a score of 1. They earn a total of 2 points. These 4 people earned a score of 8 points. Then we have 21 points for the third group, 40 points. 16 times 10 is 160. 16 times 10 would have been 160. Half of that is 80, because we have 5 16s, and this is 66. Let's add them up, shall we? So we get here 10 and 17. 7, carry 1. Let's see what can we do here. We see a 10 here, I see a 10 here, that's 20, plus 1 is 21. How many people do we have? Let's add them up, shall we? This was a 7. Let's add them up. So we get a 6, 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 7 is 13, 13 plus 10 is, 13 plus 10 is, 13 plus 10 is, it's just 13, 13 and 7, 20. Carry 2, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3 and 2, 5. Now you understand what I just did was a damn silly thing to do. Why? Because the problem told us there were 50 observations. It was not necessary. So the actual average is exactly 217 divided by 50. And that's what it is. Whatever that works out to be. So how does one go about dividing 217 by 50 by hand? How does one go about dividing 217 by 50 manually? The answer is one does not. Multiply the top and bottom by 2. Multiply the top and bottom by 2. That's 400. And 17 times 2 is 34. 34 over 100. 50 times 2 is 100. That was the whole bloody point. And now we can very easily move the decimal. So the average comes out to be exactly 4.34. Just like we predicted, it is less than 5. It is much less than 5 because there were quite a few people with a score of 1, a score of 2 and a score of 3. And that's all. Let's do the next one, shall we? We spent a lot of time on this question. I can't believe it. Number 5. That was number 5. Number 6. Question number 6. Question number 6 is a geometry question. We need the room. It's a geometry question, and the picture that is given to us looks something like this. Comes down at 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees, and from here to here we make the 2 triangles. This is what is given to us. Let's put in the information that we have. We are told that this side is 2 root 5, this side is root 5, and here we have, this side is 3, and we have P, Q, R, and S. Let's see what they're asking us to compare. Column A, we have area of triangle PQR, and in column B we have area of triangle PRS. Let's see what we can do. Well, PQR. How do we find, first of all, how do we find the area of a triangle? Area of a triangle is simply 1/2 base times height. And right now we're talking about area of this triangle. Area of triangle PQR is what we're going to do first. How do we find the area? 1/2 base times height. So in the triangle PQR, we can treat this as a base, and in which case the height would be P to Q. P to Q would be the height. Or we can do the other way around. Really doesn't matter, because the two quantities are going to be multiplied. When the two quantities are being multiplied, it really doesn't matter whether you say that it is A times B or B times A. So let's do it. 1/2 base. So if you were to treat this as a base, we have root 5 times height, which is this quantity right here, 2 times root 5, and 2 from the bottom, we'll take out the 2 from the top, and we're left with root 5 times root 5, root 5 times root 5 is just 5. So the area of this quantity right here is 5. The area of PQR is 5, let's erase this 6 so we don't get confused. Now we have to work on the area of, PRS. PRS. Again, it is equal to 1/2 base times height, except now in PRS, in triangle PRS, this side here, P2S, let's call that a base. Let's just call that a base. Again, 1/2 base times height, 1/2 base, we don't know the quantity. We have no idea what this is. How can we figure out the base of this triangle? How can we figure out any side in a given triangle? Given the fact is what I meant to say. Given the fact it's a right angle. How does one figure out a missing side in a right angle triangle? In a right angle triangle, we find the missing side by using the Pythagorean theorem, provided that we know the other two sides. Here we don't know this side, but we also do not know that side, P to R. But the good news is that we can find out P to R by using the triangle PQR. In the triangle PQR, we know the other two sides. So let's find out P to R here using the triangle PQR. Using triangle PQR, let's call this side X. And let's call this other side that we're eventually going to need Y. So right now we are looking for X using PQR. In the triangle PQR, the side P to R is what we're calling X, and as you can see, that side P to R faces 90 degrees. It faces 90 degrees, which means this is our hypotenuse, which means X squared has to equal the square of sum of the square of those two quantities. Root of 5 squared plus 2 times root of 5 squared. Square of root of 5 is just 5. 2 squared, 2 is outside the square root sign, 2 squared is going to be 4. And square of root 5 is just going to be 5. So 4 times 5 is 20, plus 5 is 25. Which means X is 5. Which means X is equal to 5. Aha! Now we can work on finding out the Y. Even though I phrase it like that, but there is nothing to find out. It's very simple. If this thing implies, if X squared is equal to 25, that implies that X is equal to 5. But that in turn implies that Y must be what? You don't have to do anything, you see? Now in this triangle PRS, the hypotenuse is 5, this side is 3. If this side is 3, hypotenuse is 5, the other side has to be 4. Because it's a simple 3, 4, 5 triangle, because 3 squared plus 4 squared is 5 squared. So Y is 4, which is the base of this triangle. The base of this triangle right here, we just found out, is 4. How much is the height? The height is right here. Height is 3. Let's put it in here. So we have a 4 here, we have a 2 at the bottom. Let's divide by top and bottom by 2. 4 will become 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6, which is the area of this triangle. This is equal to 6, which is the area of PRS, which is this quantity. So we found just now that the quantity in column B is 6. Quantity in column A we found out was 5. Therefore the answer is B. Answer to this question is B. I'm curious as to what the percentile was here. Oh, there it goes. It's not actually that as bad as I. 3/4 of the people almost who took the exam had no trouble with it. That was question number 6. Let's do the next one, shall we? Oh, now I remember why I don't want to use the blue marker. I had them for the longest time and I wasn't using it. and I started wondering why I had so many of them but I never used them, because of this. So that goes in the garbage. Okay, let's do next one. Number 7 is the next one. Excuse me for a second. I need a break. Number 7 is the next one. But number 7 is not that straightforward. Let's do number 8 first. We'll come to number 7 in a second. Let's do the next one first, number 8. Hopefully, number 8 is not that bad. In number 8, we are told that S and T are positive integers. We are furthermore told that 32 raised to S is equal to 2 raised to T. And we have column A here. In column A we have S over T, and in column B we have 1 over 5. Let's see what we can do. This is what is given to us, 32 raised to S and 2 raised to T. And somehow we have to establish some sort of relationship between S and T. The only way you can figure out, extract any information about the relationship between S and T is through what is given here, obviously. But unfortunately, what is given to us here are two different bases. Here we have a base of 32, here we have a base of 2. We can't really compare S and T in this form. So let's make the bases equal to 2. Shall we? Let's make the bases the same. How can we write 32 as a base of 2? Well, we know 2 squared is 4. 2 to the 3rd is going to be 8. 2 to the 4th we know is 16. And therefore 2 to the 5 is going to be 32. In other words, we can write 32 as 2 raised to 5. 2 raised to 5, and then the S goes outside. So far so good? Which is same as 2 raised to 5 times S, because we're going to multiply the exponent because it's outside the parenthesis. And that we are told is same as 2 raised to T. Now we have the same basis. Which means 5S must equal T. Alright. Where can we go next? We want S over T. So let's divide both of these quantity by 5T. Divide both of this quantity by 5T. I'm going to rewrite this a little bit better. 5S equal T, 5x equals this, and divide both sides by 5T. And watch what happens. If you divide both sides of the equation by 5T, first of all, this 5 is going to go away. What are we left here? We are left with S over T. S over T, and here the T is going to disappear, and we're going to left with 1 over 5. 1 over 5. 5 S over T is equal to 1 over 5. S over T is equal to 1 over 5. The answer is C. The two quantities are equal. About 60% of the people, about 3/5 of the people had no trouble with it. They got it right. Let's work on number 7. Number 7 is a little bit of a, I was going to say a little bit of a googly, but I don't know how many Americans would understand that term. And of course, if you are from subcontinent like myself, and if you play cricket, of course you know exactly what a googly is. Look, let's take a look at number 7. I meant the Indian subcontinent, do you understand? Here, column A. In column A, we have sum of the odd integers from 1 to 199. And in column B, we have sum of the even integers from 2 to 198. From 2 to 198. I'm going to write both of them in the same way so that it looks better. From 1 to 199 and 2 to 198. So here we have odd integers, here we have even integers. That's the first difference. Here we go all the way up to 199, here we are supposed to stop at 198. How can we figure out the difference in the sum? Well, one straightforward way is to simply know the formula that exists that will tell you the sum of any arithmetic series. This is called an arithmetic series, and the formula will tell you exactly how to figure out the sum of any series regardless of how many terms we have. Unfortunately, we cannot go that route because GRE does not assume that knowledge. GRE does not assume that you know the formula for arithmetic series, and most people don't. So even though it exists, we are not going to use that tool because there is no point in using a tool that most people either do not know or are not required to know. GRE assumes that you have never heard of the arithmetic series, the formula for arithmetic series. So you can't use this. So we're going to have to use it. We're going to have to do it out manually. Let's see what we can do. Well, let's write them out. So let's write them all out, see what happens. Now don't freak out, stay calm. So sum of odd integers 1 through 199, 1, 3, 5, 7, on and on and on and on and on, up to 195, 197, 199. So far so good. Let's write out the other series, which begins with 2 and stops at 198. So 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way, 196, 196, and 198. And it stops here, it doesn't go anymore. So there is nothing in this part, it's empty. That's empty. Well, we want to find out which one is bigger. Don't we? Sum of this one versus sum of that one. Let's subtract this series, column A. Let's subtract, this is our column A, and this is our column B. Let's subtract column A from column B and see what happens. So if you take away 1 from 2, it becomes 1. Which in other words, column B is bigger by 1 point at this point. Again, if you take away 3 from 4, we get a 1. 6 will become, if you take away 5, it will have a remainder of 1. If you take away 7 from 8, it will have a remainder of 1. We'll have 1s all over. If you take 195 away from 196, you'll have a remainder of 1. If you take away 197 from 198, you'll have a remainder of 1. How many 1s will we have? Well, I do not know how many 1s we will have, but keep in mind that we still have 199 here in the first series. So do you really think that we're going to have 199 1s here? Of course not. Because we're only going up to 198, and not only that, but we're taking every other one. So even if you were to think that we'll have 100 1s, just for the sake of argument, even if you think that we're going to have 100 1s, by the time you subtract 100 1s from 199, this column still turns out to be 99 more. The sum of this column still turns out to be 99 more than that column. In reality, we're not going to have 100 1s, we're going to have 99 1s. 2, 4, 6, all the way up to 198, we have 99 terms. In series B, we have 99 terms. In column A, when we're going from 1 through 199, we have 100 terms. Which is why one term is left over, there is nothing to subtract. In column B, we have 99 terms because this term is missing. This term is missing, it's not given to us. It stops at 198, we don't have 200. So, what's the conclusion? The conclusion is that every time you subtract one term one by one, you accumulate 1 point. Think of this, in the first round, team A had 1 point more, they were leading by 1 point again, then the 1 point again. They have collected 99 points up to here, up until this point in the story, column B was up by 99 points. But then, the last round, column B had nothing, they scored 0. So now they have 199 points in this one, 0 here, so even though they have accumulated 99 points here, in reality, what we find is that column A is going to be 100 more than column A. Why 100 more? Where is 100 coming from? It's coming from here. 199, which is what they have in the last round, but here we have a big fat 0, there's nothing here. 199 minus 99 ones. These ones. There are 99 of them all together. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way through, there are 99 of them. So by the time you subtract that 99 points that are extra in column B, the fact that we have one extra term in column A, which happens to be 199, the sum of this column turns out to be more than that column by exactly 100 points. The point that column A turns out to be exactly 100 more than column B, that's not the point here. They're not asking how much bigger is it. We simply have to be able to tell which quantity is bigger. And the answer is this column A is bigger. We just did some extra work which was not necessary. We were not required to. We did some extra work and we found out that it's exactly the sum is actually exactly 100 more than column B. The answer is A. Answer is A, and the percentile here was more than half the people who took the exam had trouble with it. 52% got it wrong. 52% of the people got it wrong. Tomorrow we'll pick up from problem number 9. Okay? I know.